Alright peeps, welcome back. Should be cutting grass today, but I'm not. Working on a houseboat. Tell you what my plan is. It's hot today, but it's not too humid. Bugs are out, little flying gnats. Enjoying a sweet tea. I'll let you decide if it's got vodka in it or not. That's your decision to make. I went by screws, 3 8-foot 2x8s. I got a pile of 2x6s. This is the plan. Alright, so the plan is my temporary brace I put to stop these from spreading. I'm going to remove this one. I guess I'll put another one behind it, remove this one. I'm going to put a splice on top of this 2x6. Say like this piece right here, okay? I'm going to screw that down. It's going to stick out past here. So it'll be sort of like this one. My rear deck is built different than the rest of the boat as far as my structural bracing and support. I need to make this strong enough to where I can block it up to get it off the trailer. So pretty much this 2x6 right here only goes to about right here, I think. I don't quite remember. I know, in fact, there's a full 20-footer. So basically what I'm replicating right here is going to be this. I'm going to have a 2x6 on top. That way I can put my new 2x6 up against it. I'll show you this for an example. That way it's going to temporarily hold a splice. It'll probably be about that long, maybe a little longer. And I need this top piece temporary so I can build my frame, put the barrel in, remove this strap, and put a wide strap that cradles both of them. Once I get that wide strap, then I'm going to deck over a 2x6 over here and make a splice joint. I'm going to splice it in to where it's going to be removable. That way if I ever got to move these barrels, I can pull that splice off and drop the straps. I'm going to do that on both sides in the rear. I still hadn't decided what I'm going to do in the middle, but I'm going to build my back out, my back deck out. And I think I decided I will put a little fantail, about a 1-foot fantail, because the fantail makes it easier to access the motor. If I have to do work on the motor in the water, it makes it easier to access the side of the motor. But it's going to increase my overall length. I'm going to have to get with Wildlife and Fisheries to get the paperwork redone, because this is registered as a 22-foot. It's going to be like 23, close to 24 foot now. I'm undecided what I'm going to do in the middle. I'm not going to know until I start to build my transom how much room I have to put another barrel. I probably won't have the room for another barrel. So if I want flotation right here, I'm going to have to build something custom out of fiberglass to give me flotation, which is something I can do in the future. And I'm going to tie in the new back deck to this. Like I said, I wish I wouldn't have built it like this, but it's too late. It's done. It served its purpose. Right now it's barely hanging on. See if I can move it. I really want to do the work just to get rid of all this and put straight 2x6s just like this. That's what I want to do. I can do it. It's just at more cost at my expense right now. And when I build the back deck out, I'm going to seal up my plywood, probably pull my trim off, put a piece of galvanized flash in it, and then put my trim over it with lots of silicone. And then I think I'm gonna go with deck boards on the rear deck. And when it comes time to redo the front, I'm gonna go with deck boards on the front as well. The problem I had that caused the rot, so I got an 1/8 gap right here on my tow rail. I had my hose drilled for my scupper drains. Water would get in there and fill up this crack right here, all the way around the perimeter. That's why I had a rot on the rear deck, and that's why a little bit of rot went under the cabin right here. It's a little soft. I got a little area of soft spot, which doesn't bother me because this is the original decking. And then inside the cabin, I've got 1 inch of foam, and then I've got another layer of plywood on top. So a little bit of rot in the bottom is not going to hurt me at this time. And it's just this one corner. I went in here, underneath here with my knife, poking all the wood. I didn't find any more rot. The soft spot stops about right here. All this is solid on both sides. But it concerns me about the front. I may have the same issue on the front. It says about an 1/8 gap or less. So right here is almost no gap. No gap here. But I'm afraid in the corners, water piled up, and it may have gotten underneath there and stayed in this track and rotted the edge of the wood. So I think I'm gonna go with deck boards. Now the deck boards are gonna be thicker than my plywood. My plywood's 1/2 inch. Deck boards are almost 1 inch. So my deck boards will be up to here. So I think I'm gonna put that galvanized flashing with a lip down to where less chance of water going into that plywood. There's the only bad spot on this subfloor right here in this corner. It's just soft and flexible, so it's rotten. I poked everywhere else with the knife. It seems pretty solid. So that's my plans. Let me get to it. I'm gonna make my 2x6 splices. I'm gonna try to get the 2 barrels installed today. Maybe not installed, but like in place, but not strapped down. I gotta deflate this barrel, deflate that barrel. Then I have to go cut a barrel for straps. I gotta look at my barrel count. I got just enough barrels to make 2 floating docks. So I plan on making 2 floating docks before the end of the year to get some income coming in. I've got nothing coming in right now. So if I can do a floating dock, at least 1 floating dock, they'll carry me for the rest of the year, which is that's my goal. But let me get to it. I'll bring y'all back later when I get progress. Progress. I used to have a 4-foot rear deck. Rear deck stopped here. Now I've got another barrel. It's gonna be inside, and I'm gonna have about a foot more of deck. Give me a 6-foot total rear deck. Made my splice temporary. This is a temporary splice right here. As stated, once I put my straps, then I'm gonna sandwich 2x6 all the way across, full length 2x6. That's gonna give me strength. I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side, and then I'm gonna decide what I'm gonna do here. I'm probably gonna tie in a cross brace, tie this transom into it. My motor's gonna be back here, well, as far as I can get it. I still haven't moved this wood off my cable. Yeah, my motors will be about a foot inside. Even the back of these barrels is my transom. So then I have to put in a filler piece to connect my new transom just for water. That's what I'm looking at. It looks easy. It kind of is. It's not easy for me. You know, being old and everything. Damaged. Yeah, let me go take me a break. And I need to get another barrel. I need to seal both my barrels, figure out where I'm putting the valve stems, and then I need to cut the straps. I'm going to strap the barrels in, and I'm going to box the barrels my normal style, to where when I inflate them, they're going to swell up inside the frame to where they're going to be tight. But yeah, so we're looking at going from 22 foot to 24 roughly. I didn't put an exact tape on it, but it was 22 foot before, and I'm adding roughly 2 foot. See y'all in a little bit. All right, back to the unorganized, messy work site. My barrels will stop here, as you see in the previous portion, and then my fantail is going to be here. I put a 2x8 across to connect my 2x6s, and I connected my old transom to my new backing plate. So what I'm gonna do now, my new transom is going to be about right here. It's going to be a 2x10 going across right here, and I'm gonna tie it into here. It'll give me plenty of strength, and like I said, I'm gonna build a filler to connect to the new transom. So my next step is probably take care of the barrels, seal them, put valve stems, go cut my straps, put these 2 barrels in place, because once the straps are on, then I can cap the outside 2x8, and I can make my 2x6 splice on the inside and remove these and make my splices going across. Doing pretty good. It's a lot longer than I want it. It's pretty solid already. So we're gonna do what we do. Catch y'all in a bit. All right, a little more progress. Determine what the transom's gonna be. Transom's gonna tie in to right here with some kickers. So I need to decide the transom, and the fantails will come out this much past the transom. It's probably gonna come in some more, and I'm gonna cut it back into here. I'm probably gonna cut these down. I don't know. Cross that bridge when I get there. And that raises my transom height. I need about 21 inches is what's recommended for my motor, but really it's 22. So with the transom this high, my 22 inches falls about right here. So my cavitation fins will be even right here, which is fine because when I'm riding in the water level's up to here before while I was riding. So with the added buoyancy, as it drop down, I ought to have a few inches. In the worst case, I can cut the transom down. I can cut the transom down another inch. I can always drop it. I can't raise it. So, but I think it's gonna work out. We are gonna find out. Bring y'all back when I can. All right. Instead of messing with the barrels, I decided to design the transom. Transom's designed. My motor is about 7 inches higher than it was. Then I still got my little fantail. This is gonna get cut down to right here on both sides. I just hadn't done it yet. But this setup is gonna put my cavitation fin about even right here. And I'm gonna finish this off with probably a piece of barrel. I'm gonna wrap up a piece of barrel to connect back to this one. And I may wind up using this as my battery box if there's enough room. Not sure yet. Let me get on the back deck without using the ladder. I guess I can pass through the houseboat. I don't feel like moving the ladder. My arm's killing me. Now, got so much more room on the back deck. Before I had a hole right here. Now I'm gonna have deck all the way to here. I'm gonna have a little over a foot behind the door now. So now my next step, now that the structure is done, this board's crooked. I need to straighten this board out. Now that the structure's done, I can plan for my barrels, do my barrels, cut my straps, put these 2 barrels in, then make my permanent splices. I think I'm gonna buy some 4-inch aluminum angle, put some angle gussets from the transom tied into the 2x6s on both sides, and maybe against the knee brace too. And I got a few screws I need to relocate right there, they're sticking out, but either way it's gonna be covered with deck boards. Yeah, a lot more room. All right, I'll bring y'all back when I got more. Welcome back to my mess. Got 1 barrel installed. I did see a boat barrel this morning. I wish I would have done every one of them like this, with one 11-inch wide strap down the whole way. Look how much less drag I would have instead of this and little thin straps buckling. It got hung up in my bump. In order for me to change all these straps, I ain't doing it. Because screws that hold this down go into this 2x8. I had to come with a skill saw and had to cut the screws to release this portion. So in order to do this, I have to run the skill saw blade across this entire length of 2x8, pull the 2x8 off. Then I kind of can't do it while it's on a trailer because the weight is on the straps. I have to jack up one side at a time. That's next houseboat. Next houseboat, when joining multiple barrels, this is the way to go. It's nice and tight and it's less likely to shift. So I'll come back and I'll just trim it off after. Trim it off. I gotta work on the neck on the other side. But this barrel's on and secured. On to the next one before the rain gets me. It's coming. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. It's 4 in the afternoon and cannot run that rain. It's coming. I could probably play for another 30-40 minutes at best, but that's highly unlikely. The barrels have been added, both strapped down. I do have to add valve stems in the 2 new barrels and put air in 4 barrels. Well, 4, not 2, 4 barrels. For now, I got the jack on it to get this straight. My next step is to cut the 2x8, the length I need, put the 2x8 on. Then once the 2x8 is on both sides, then I can focus on making my splice to cover both the insides. Once those splices are on, I can remove these temporary splices, and then I can cut these right here, because I need a 2x6 going across the gap of the barrels, and it's also going to tie into the old transom to the deck. So I need a 2x6 right here, and then I'll put another 2x6 or 2x4 right here, and then I got to come back and frame out 2x6 perimeter on the outsides of the deck. After that, it's ready for deck boards or more 1/2 inch of Rocco plywood, whichever I decide to go with. I think I'm going to go with deck boards. I'm going to try out deck boards, and once that's together, I got to re-secure this. I ripped this off a little bit, and I'm probably going to pull all this trim and molding off and put a galvanized flashing before the deck boards, which I don't have. Today's Saturday. All the local lumber yards and hardware stores are closed. I will have to go run 30 minutes in the Homewood just to get a piece of flashing. I may do it tomorrow. It depends on the weather. But I want to thank y'all for tuning in. You can see the transom height. The top of the transom is way above the deck. I want to say 4 inches above the deck, whereas before the top of the transom was probably 5 inches below the deck. So I'm gonna have 7 to 8 inch lift on the motor, as I discussed in the previous portion of the video. And for now, I'm not gonna change this. I may just add on a piece of barrel just to help water flow a little better, not to cause turbulence in the air to go into the motor. But it may not cause turbulence in the air. I won't know until that time comes. I want to thank y'all for viewing. See y'all on the next one. Had I known I've been building this long, I could have built a foot longer cabin. Oh, I just felt a raindrop. So yeah, it's a good thing I'm picking up. I mean, grab my electrical tools, and there's the wind, and I smell the rain. So I got so many things to pick up and clean too. All right, thank y'all for viewing. I'll catch you on the next video, which will probably be in a day or two. I want to try to have the next video is gonna have the deck boards or plywood, whichever I'll go with, installed. Appreciate y'all.